So Pete, if you want to, just kick us off.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to our seminar webinar today, and it's being hosted by Native 360 and Kyle Smith, who is with the SBA, Red Wind Development, and SBA Office of Native Affairs is sponsoring this as well, and Christopher Coburn with Muskogee Loan Fund. So welcome everybody, and it's going to be, it's the new normal, I guess, until we have a better solution. So the thing that I think is important is as we go through COVID and everyone is social distancing, I still think it's important that we get the entrepreneurship training out to our Native Americans who want to start small businesses or have an existing small business. Because I know in the areas of South Dakota and northern Nebraska, I know northern Nebraska, the Santee Sioux Reservation is currently under quarantine. So it's just creating a challenge, but we got to be innovative and persistent on how we get our message out to our entrepreneurs that need technical assistance. So I think Kyle and John Rood and Harrison are our IT providers. Brent Johnson assists me. Wave there, Brent. Brent is my go-to guy for coordinating these events as well. So Harrison and John, thank you. So I'm going to let Kyle go ahead and take us forward.
Okay, well, good morning. How we're going to operate today is we're going to have a little bit of a PowerPoint. We're also going to go and kick some tires on some websites. And then we're going to sort of end of the day, break up into some teams, and we're going to start building some businesses. So what I'm going to do now, and you know, for folks that are Zoom experienced like Chris, right, Chris? And for those that are not, you know, we may work at a pace that allows us all to move along here. So what I'm going to do is start this out and sort of introduce the program a little bit here. Harrison, any norms here in terms of who mutes and who doesn't? How do you guys want to handle that?
I'll go over it when we do the Zoom norms, but kind of what I was thinking was if we're presenting, everybody's muted, and you can have video on, just kind of stay muted unless you've got a question or anything like that. And if I'm getting some feedback or like some room noise that's kind of distracting, I might just go ahead and mute you. So don't be offended if I mute you or anything. It's just a quick thing to make sure that everyone can see Kyle talking. But I'll go over a little bit more of that when we get into sort of the Zoom norms.
And as a preference, I sure like to see some of you guys great looking faces here. So if you got your videos turned off, occasionally turn them on so we can see who's who. Jeanette, good to see you. So as we go through this, if you can, try to keep your videos on, and we'll start walking through the material here. So I'm going to share my screen and sort of introduce the program here. And you guys can give me feedback as we move along and say things like, hey, I can see things or I can't. So let me just kick this off here a little bit. Okay, so you guys can see everything okay?
Yes.
Yep.
So John, as we go through, so let me just walk through a couple slides here. So first of all, my name is Kyle Smith, and we've been teaching this workshop a few times. Over the last couple of years, we've taught it maybe, we've taught it last year 15 times, and then the previous years, we've taught it probably well over 75 times only in Indian country. So let me pull up the sort of a website here And you guys give me feedback as we go through. So this is a website we have called
Hey, Kyle.
Native Small. Yeah,
Go ahead and share that. You're still sharing the PowerPoint. Go ahead and share the actual site.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Looks good.
Okay, so this is a site that we prepared for the workshop. And its URL is up there, nativesmallbusiness.org. And what we've done is over the course of the year, we've been across a number of communities. So as you can see, we've been out in Arizona, Church Rock. We've been in Oklahoma, in the west part of the state, up in White Earth, Seneca, across a number of folks. And we went on hold, sort of postponed a number of workshops. And we've rescheduled and started those up again. And so you can see what we've got going now is a few workshops. It's a few workshops that we're gonna try to, in the home stretch, finish up. So we've got what we call today the Great Plains one. We're gonna have a tribal enterprise workshop next week and then be up with Fond du Lac also. And another one, we're gonna actually be with the Pawnees in Oklahoma. So that's the only in-person one we've got coming up. And we'll start this cycle again. And so you can see these are the workshops that we've completed over the last year. Let me play one video here for you. And then, John, you give me feedback if the sound comes across okay.
A lot of times you see people coming in and they're really shy, or you really see them hesitant and they're not really sure. And it's really fulfilling to see them have those aha moments.
You know, going through this workshop gave me a lot more insight on where my money's going and how I should budget my money more.
The things I thought I knew before, I really didn't know about. And coming to this workshop, I know a broader way to approach different problems and how to solve those problems now.
And I'm kind of glad I did this before I even got into a business, so I don't have to go back and fix stuff. I can start fresh and start where I should start.
Some trainings, sometimes you're just inside the book, and here definitely didn't have that. There was more, a lot of hands-on approach. There was some group activities, kind of pulling you out of your box, your element.
Here, you're within your peers, your community members, and it's just comfortable atmosphere to really express yourself and learn.
So that's a little bit of the workshop intro, and we did that down at TO. And as you can see on this workshop, one of the things that on this website, what we have the ability is, has a little bit, a few resources that you can go link back to. I'll just scroll down. Market research, social media, business plans. So if you would like, it's the URL is called nativesmallbusiness.org. Okay. So what I'd like to do is just now walk through the PowerPoint again, and let me just continue scrolling through. So here are the outcomes that we want to try to achieve today. So we're going to try to build some awareness around how do you start a business. We also want to provide access to a tool set. And Pete, what's the name of this tool set?
Initiate Prosperity. It's a new online platform that everybody on the webinar today will have access to. And it's a toolbox of anything and everything that you'll need when starting a business, or if you have a business going. And we're going to send out a link to you after today's meeting and get your account set up so that you can, in the site, you can request coaching, you can request one-on-one technical assistance. So take a look at it, and we'll introduce that here just a little bit further, but it's called Initiate Prosperity. So we'll give you the link to it.
Okay. So part of that is we're going to try to give you some tool sets. We're also going to focus on what we think are some selected issues today. Later on, we're going to try to break up some teams and build a business. And what we want to do is try to focus on the workshops that really make a difference. And then in terms of technical assistance, you know, we got Chris and we got Pete as resources for you later on. Let me do this real quick. Pete, you've introduced yourself. Chris, could you introduce yourself to the group?
Sure. Can you hear me?
I got you. Got you.
Okay. All right. Hi, I'm Christopher Coburn. I'm the CEO of Muskogee Fund. We're a CDFI serving Muskogee Creek Nation citizens in Oklahoma. We also serve any other Native American, Native Alaskan, Native Hawaiian that lives in our 11-county reservation in Oklahoma. Primarily, we're a small business, micro enterprise CDFI. So this is kind of our comfort zone as far as this content. We also now do ag and agribusiness lending, and we're beginning to do some consumer lending. So a few of our clients were able to join us today. Eric Starr is also on the call. He's my business development officer, works a lot on the coaching side with clients, getting the
We just lost Chris.
Okay. So we'll get Chris to come back on in a minute. We lost him for a second. John,
all right,
introduce. Oh, go ahead, Chris. We just lost you a little bit on the sound, but go ahead and keep going.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but so appreciate Eric Starr on my staff, our business development officer, getting a lot of our citizens online for the call. And thank you to Pete and Native 360 and all the partners for allowing Muskogee Fund to be part of this. So.
Great. And then maybe, John, could you introduce yourself a little bit? Because John's going to help us out. And then Harrison, if you would follow.
Sure. My name's John Rood. I'm one of Pete's small business coaches in Nebraska. We're based out of Lincoln. My company, Nebraska Digital, we help a lot with web and marketing, social marketing. You're going to hear more from me in day 3. And then we've also got Harrison helping out from our staff, helping out with the technical side of the meeting and any issues. So lean on him or Brent if you're having, during the workshops, if you're having any issues getting connected.
Okay, great. So here's what we're going to try to cover for the next 3 days. So in terms of the agenda. So after I present this overall, we're going to look at a couple of Zoom tips to bring us all up to speed. We're going to try to find out who else is in the room through some introduction. We're going to look at and kick the tires on the website that helps support entrepreneurs. And then we're going to spend some time on thinking about how do you design or build a business model or business plan for your business. And then tomorrow we're going to talk about where's the pain or the gain. As a small business owner, why does someone choose you versus someone else? Because every day people's got a choice. They have a choice to go to this restaurant or another restaurant. Do they have a choice to choose this drywall company or another? And what we want to do is try to help identify how you're different or the same than other folks. Also on day 2, we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about marketing and marketing research. And then as John mentioned, on day 3, we're going to spend a little bit of time thinking about, you know, what's really happened in sort of this digital world. Everything's been pushed online, and how would that impact your business? So John's going to share a little bit of that. At the conclusion of day 3, we're going to actually ask you guys, for those that would like to share your business models, share a little bit about your business, and help us try to understand a little bit more about sort of the value proposition here. So what I'd like to do is now turn this, so this is sort of the 3-day agenda. And so what I'd like to do is turn this over to Harrison. Let's take us through some Zoom tips. So Harrison, go ahead and, if you would, share your screen and let's move forward.
Okay, thanks, Kyle. I'm gonna just make this a little bit bigger here. Yeah, as John said, my name is Harrison. I've been working with him and Pete for about 5 years now. And if you guys have any questions about Zoom or having some technical difficulties, feel free to reach out to me. I'll kind of cover how to do that too. But the first thing is kind of some etiquette just for general use as we do this. As Kyle mentioned earlier, we would prefer you guys to use video whenever you can, just that way everybody kind of puts a face to the name. You can turn it off momentarily. I'll show you how to do that in a second if you don't already know how. But we just kind of prefer that if you can. Kind of going along with that is we'd also prefer you guys to stay muted unless you are speaking or you have a question, which we do encourage questions, and I'll kind of show how you guys can ask those. And then screen sharing is going to be more relevant in the days to come, but only share when we ask you to, just that way we can keep things moving smoothly. And so at the bottom of your bar, if you've never used Zoom before, you'll see it kind of some or all of these buttons, but the ones you need to really, really worry about are the ones that I've listed above. And the first one is mute or unmute, which turns your audio on or off. And if you're having any technical difficulties with your microphone, you can click the arrow right next to it and it'll kind of take you into this dashboard where you can see if your mic is picking you up and if you're connected to the right microphone, that kind of thing. Similar idea for video. You just click that start or stop video. It takes just about a second to change. So that's how you kind of toggle that if you need to. The third button, which is actually the fourth in this list below, is participants. And that's going to be important for changing your name if the name you joined with is not the one that's associated with you. It's pretty easy to change, but I will go over that in a future slide, just kind of how to make sure everybody has the right name in there. Next is chat. If you guys have a question, feel free to message me or Kyle, depending on if it's a question about the workshop. Maybe ask Kyle. If it's a question about Zoom, ask me. And you can message the whole group if you need to. And then 6 is share your screen, which we'll cover later, but it's that's just how you share your screen with everybody. And then this is kind of a feature that you can turn on if you want. When one of us is sharing our screen, you can click the view options right next to the green box that says you are viewing whoever's screen. And if you choose side-by-side mode, it'll actually show the person talking right next to the PowerPoint. So if you kind of want to have both of those up at the same time, you can. You just click that view options box, and then there's a checkbox for side-by-side mode. And the screenshots that I have are taken off of a Mac, but they should be roughly the same for PC users. And so if you guys want, you can try that while I'm doing this. That's fine. But it's kind of just there. Just know it's there if you want to use it. And then this is kind of a Zoom feature that we think we can make a lot of use of. But you have the option to raise your hand if you have a question. If you don't, if you just want us to get to you as soon as there's a pause, we can do this. All you have to do is click that participants button that I mentioned earlier, and then you'll have an option to raise your hand. I think it's usually at the bottom of the participants list, so just look for that. And then as soon as we see that, we'll try to get to you as soon as we can. And then if your question is answered or you figure it out, you can always lower your hand, and we'll know that you've got it kind of resolved. And then in a similar sense, you can also reach out via chat, which some of you have already done, and it seemed to work pretty well. And all you have to do is click chat, and then where you see everyone, you can change that to be a specific person. So if it's for me, you can just change it to my name, and you can send that message just to me. And it works just like every other chat platform you've probably used before. And it works good if you have kind of a specific question that you need answered. So here's where we're gonna, if anybody has the wrong name associated with their account, this is how you can change it. So all you have to do is click participants, and then by your name, if you hover over it, you'll see this rename button. And all you have to do is click that, and it will let you type in your name. And so to see everybody else's name, and we really strongly recommend that you guys do this just so you can associate names with faces and voices. You just have to open the Zoom, kind of the main Zoom screen. It's not the one you're using right now to see this meeting. It's the one that you use to join the meeting. And the best way I found to do that is just to kind of click the Zoom app, and you should see all the windows that are open, and one of them will be this one. So if you can get to that screen, all you have to do is click your profile picture right up here, and you'll see a kind of a settings window. You're going to want to open that and then go to video. And then you'll see this always display participant names on their video. So I'm going to give everybody kind of a second to go ahead and turn that on.
Oh, you're not watching the boy. You're watching Coco Melon.
Is everybody seeing that okay? Okay, I'm going to move on here, but if anybody has trouble with that, let me know and I can try to help. This is really important so that you know who everybody is, because you guys will get familiar with me and Kyle and John and Pete, but for each other, this will be really helpful so you know who they are. So eventually we're going to do some breakout rooms, and these work very similar to breakout rooms in the real world. We're going to assign you into some groups, and we'll put an instructor with each of you. And we're going to put some time limits on these rooms just to keep things meeting, so they will close automatically. But if you're done early, there is a leave breakout room button, and that will take you back into the main meeting. So the rooms will function exactly how they do now. There will just be less people in each one so that you guys can work on exercises and discussions and that kind of stuff together. And I'm not going to go over this right now, but you can share your screen. So I'm going to turn it back over to Kyle and let him kind of run the rest of this.
Yeah, and we're going to share some screens the third day. So we're going to see us use those capabilities the third day. We'll probably do a breakout group this afternoon and one tomorrow. So I did notice this reaction kind of button down here. So if you sort of got what Harrison was saying, hit one of those reactions here real quick. Let's just see who's awake. I see a thumbs up. I got a thumbs up. Okay, Jasmine. Caitlin, got you. The rest of you guys, got Harrison. I guess you would answer yes, because you were there. Who else? You got everybody else? This is also who's awake kind of thing. All right. All right. Shiloh, are you there? Gotcha. Okay. I got Jeanette. I'm scanning the board here. Eric, give some reaction there. That response, the reaction button on the bottom. All right. Let's see. Who do we not have? All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Sorry for the harassment there. So what I'd like to do is let's just see who we've got here in the room. So what I'd like to do, and let me just pull up my screen for a second, and then we'll come back. So you guys can see we walk through the Zooms. We talk through the breakout groups, sharing your screen. So what I'd like to do is for a few minutes, and for those, I'd like you to jot down a few things here, and then we're going to go to a whiteboard. So I'd like you individually to think about what's your business idea? What's the business that you're thinking about starting or growing? And you may take a sheet of paper and write it down a few things, because I'd like us to maybe share those, because I'd like you to introduce yourself in a minute. So what's the business idea you're thinking about? 1. 2, what's stopping you or slowing you down? What's keeping you from getting to where you need to get to? And then we're going to ask Harrison to put on the board there, what do you hope to learn or get from the workshop for the next 3 days? And then the 4th question is, what kind of opportunities or small business opportunities do you see in your community? So I'd like to take just a couple of minutes for you to write these down. And then I'd like each of you to introduce yourself to the broader group here. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to stop the share and go back to each individual group. And then let's just do a little bit of introductions. And then Harrison, I see we got a couple more people in the waiting room. So this would be a good time to get them in and part of the introductions here. So I'm going to stop sharing and look at each other here, okay? Okay, maybe for a second, we've got a little bit, I don't know how your screens are laid out, but maybe we can work across the top here. Jeanette, and could you introduce yourself to the group and maybe address a few of those questions? You know, what's your business or business role? You know.
All righty, my name's Jeanette Dodge. I'm from Henrietta, Oklahoma. And I am going to, my husband and I are going to start up a tack supply, which is, we're both team ropers, and we're going to sell horse tack and supplies here locally, and then we're going to go to rodeos and team ropings and sell tack there too. So it's kind of like just a.
And what would you like to learn from the workshop? What's the biggest pressing need you have?
Just how to run it proper and how to just keep things in line, how to reach other. I've got a couple of ideas how we're going to reach our customers and stuff like that, but just keep things proper and running smoothly, and how we're just learn how to do it the right way and not.
Are you operating already?
No, we are. Some of our suppliers, since they're out of Texas, they close out. They close their stores down in August since it's so hot, and then they reopen in September. And so I'm just waiting for them to get back with me.
Okay.
But there's nothing. That's the only thing that's stopping me.
And Jeanette, where are you out of? Where's your hometown?
Henrietta, Oklahoma.
Henrietta, Oklahoma. Okay, so we got Okay, good, good. Maybe Shiloh. Just a brief introduction to the group. Go ahead and hit your mute button. Maybe just introduce yourself a little bit.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Shiloh Clifford. I am from Porcupine, South Dakota. I'm a tribal member of the Oglala Sioux tribe, and I recently started a business this past, I started actually in production for about a year, but started right around March, April, as soon as the pandemic hit. And it wasn't the greatest timing on my part, but yeah, so my company's name is Native Botanicals, and we are bringing indigenous remedies into modern self-care, if you will. So we're using indigenous plants, making them into herbal tinctures and supplements. And I don't really have a business background. I haven't gone to school for business. I do have a cultural background. For the last 20 years, I worked with the culture, spirituality, language, and medicines and traditional plants and foods. So the reason why I'm here today is to get more information and knowledge how to run my business. And so I'm really grateful for this opportunity, and that's my story for today.
Shiloh, are you operating now?
Yes, I am.
What's your number one seller? What's your number one product?
My number one product right now is an herbal tincture. And my second number one product is an herbal salve. And I have 6 different plants that I've tinctured so far. And that's, of course, I'm going to grow with other ones. But my main number one seller on my site right now is a tincture called Sage, Prejikota, and a salve called Healing Salve that's got a few different medicines, and it's a topical for pain relief.
Okay. And you've got a website up and you're selling off your web?
Yes, my website is called realnativebotanicals.com.
Okay. Well, on our third day, maybe you can share some of your website.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little sharing on the third day to find out who's got what going on where. Okay. So one of the things we want to do is, what would be helpful is we're going to do this business canvas model later today as a homework. And we'd like you to sort of build that canvas, which is your business model, which is the choices you make around your business. Okay. So that's what we're going to try to work on this afternoon. So we're happy to have you here with us.
Great.
We work across, I don't know how this screen, it changes a little bit. Maybe Eric, you can introduce yourself a little bit.
Hey, yeah, my name's Eric Starr. I'm the business development officer for the Muskogee Fund. Christopher Colburn is my CEO. And I'm basically on the front end of the file management, getting it all ready for our underwriting team. I have a small business. I have a small lawn company here in Okmulgee County. And I would like to learn more, a little bit more about marketing.
Marketing, okay.
Yes.
And is Chris a good boss?
Oh, you know, Chris is tough, man. Chris is a tough cookie. He makes sure that, you know, we're doing our jobs and stuff. He does what he's supposed to. And yeah, Chris is really, he's very smart, and he holds us accountable for sure.
You know, I asked the question whether he was a good boss. I didn't know.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know, he's a tough boss.
Okay.
He's taught us a lot. He's a great boss. Yes.
Well, good. Eric, glad to have you here. And
yes,
let me go across. Arnetta. And who's behind you there? Oh, get your mute.
I'm trying to get everybody. I'm trying to reach out and get everybody unmuted.
Okay. Arnetta, hit your mute button.
Bottom left of the screen.
Arnetta. Somebody chat Arnetta up. You got
Hey,
it?
Miss Cotton.
Oh, right.
Can you hear us now?
Gotcha.
There
And
you
who's
go,
that
yeah.
hovering behind you?
This is my husband, Eric.
Eric Cotton.
Eric, we know who's in the front seat and who's in the back seat here. So we're glad to have you. Introduce yourself a little bit.
Well, that's because I'm the shortest, Kyle. Okay, we are Eric and Arnetta Cotton, and the name of our business is Cattle for the Kingdom. And we specialize in raising grain-fed, grass-fed beef. And one of the reasons that we are in this is because we tried it before and didn't have a true business model. And we want to change it from a hobby, so to speak, because this is what we love to do, to a bona fide business. Now, we've had clients before, but we honestly just didn't have a good business model. And so we want to do it right. We
So
have clients now.
How many head of cattle do you have?
35.
35. All right. So later on, I want to show you a value chain for cattle and ask you some questions.
Okay.
Okay. So what's the key thing you'd like to learn? The business model?
Yeah,
The business
we really
model,
wanna break it
yes.
into a business perspective.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
And,
right.
and sometimes it's difficult to translate that to agriculture, you know, to a cow-calf operation, but we know that it can be done.
Okay. Well, Chris is an expert. He's out of Oklahoma, right? You know, Chris. Chris, you're the agricultural expert, so you'll be able to provide a lot of guidance there, right?
Yeah, we can, and we've got Ag Plan through Center for Farm Financial Management, which is basically the SBA tools turned toward ag and agribusiness that our clients can access for free.
Okay.
So we'll help them with that, and they can get as detailed as they want to. We can help them.
Do you guys know each other?
Well, we met Eric,
Okay.
Yeah.
but we
yeah.
have not met Chris.
Okay. Remember,
Well, hello.
Chris,
Nice to meet you.
remember, Chris is the tough one. Chris is the tough
Gotcha.
one. Okay. All right. Let me
I'm the
jump
one
over.
that I'm the one that you want to say yes eventually, but Eric is the one you're going to get to know more and probably like better. So
Okay.
that's okay.
All right. Good. Good. Thanks, Chris. Pete, you know, I know you gave us an introduction a little bit more. Anything to add? Just which part of the country are you from, Pete?
There he is.
Yeah, I serve Nebraska, Iowa, Southeast South Dakota, and located in Grand Island, Nebraska. And we're working quite a bit with the Yankton Sioux tribe currently. And so we serve all Native Americans within that region. So we have a large geographic footprint, and we utilize consultants quite heavily. John, and then you'll see our coaches that we've got available to everyone, and that's just the beginning of our coaches. We're going to add 3 more. So yeah, we serve a large geographic footprint.
Okay. Good. Good. Okay, Michael Berry Hill. Could you introduce yourself a little bit?
That's what I was trying to do.
Yes, can you hear me?
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yes, my name is Michael Berry Hill. I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm of the Muskogee Creek tribe. I've been working with, or actually Chris and Eric's been working with me for the past, couple years or whatnot. Seemed like a little bit longer, you know, given that, give or take, you know, the time of, you know, the business plan. But I'm also looking to have a small lawn business, you know. Also going into like, I don't know, I'm thinking like a more of a what do you call it? Greenhouse, you know, microgreens. You know, I like to, you know, get my green thumb, build my green thumb, you know, up. So, yes.
Okay, great. Welcome. Welcome. And are you up and running now?
I am not.
Okay. Okay, good, good. Okay, let me jump down to Corbin.
Yes, sir. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm with the Muskogee Creek Nation. And my business I'm wanting to go for is like the exotic pet trade. I'm up and running, kind of. I don't have my LLC yet. I actually called Eric about getting my LLC because I was confused. And I'm running online stores right now through Morph Market. It's like it's kind of like Craigslist or Facebook for people selling animals. So I'm just really new. I am making money. I'm sorry, I had to box up some packages in the beginning of this to ship out to customers. That's why it took me a little bit to get on. But yeah, I'm just wanting to have a facility and work with snakes and reptiles, bugs, eventually tigers and crocodiles. I've worked in the pet trade since I was 18. I worked with large cats, crocodiles, pretty much everything, venomous snakes. I love it. It's my passion, and I've been making a decent little bit of money recently, but I'm just having trouble managing it and like understanding what I need to go and the direction I need to take this in order to be profitable to where I want to be.
So Eric, what's the problem there? Managing money. I'm just kidding a little bit here. So Corbin, you're welcome. So your biggest thing is planning out funds or thinking about where you spend?
Yeah,
just priorities.
Yeah, priorities. That's really a big thing for me, and just like going to the next step. Because right now it's really all word of mouth through Facebook groups. Just I have a reputation, and that's really where I've been making most of my business is through word of mouth sales.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
so what'd be good for you if you got questions about the impact of selling. John's going to be talking about that on our third day. So welcome. Glad to have you here.
Okay.
Harrison, anything to add? Just introductions wise?
Oh, me? No, I think I covered it all.
Okay.
If anyone wasn't here before, I'm kind of making sure the Zoom meeting runs smoothly. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to message me. I am kind of watching mics and stuff. So if we're getting feedback or something like that, I'll probably mute you, but don't take it personally. It's just to keep things running smooth. So, but other than that, no, I don't really have anything to add.
What's it like to have all that power?
I'm trying to stop it from going to my head, but you never know.
Okay.
I think I'm good right now, but we'll see by the end of the third day.
Okay, yeah. So we'll try to keep you in check here a little bit. Okay, Caleb.
I'm Caleb Muskogee. I got a small business here around Dewar, Henrietta area. We just do general contracting. I just need a better understanding on how to run a business and better marketing. I'm just using Facebook right now and kind of people that know me, and we're kind of building a little bit of reputation up around here, and it's going pretty good so far. So I just need to.
So Caleb,
on like a business model.
Okay, so we'll think about some of that this afternoon on the business model here. So Caleb, on the general construction, general contracting, do you have a specialty, electrical, plumbing, or do you do it all?
Just carpenter work, roofing, framing, drywall. Kind of try to do it all, that way we can kind of stay busy.
Okay. And then what's the hardest trade to find out there today?
Hardest trade?
Yeah, is it hard to find it? Do you need you got a full crew that's active and ready to go all the time?
Oh yeah, I got plenty of people. Just
Okay.
need to keep enough work coming to keep them all around,
Okay, well, good. Glad to have you there. Okay, let's see. Who we have not? We got Corbin. Is it S. Ashley? I don't know if
Yeah,
you're
can you
there.
hear me?
Yeah, no video though.
Okay, here we go. All right, there I am.
Yeah, you're not gonna get by too much hiding out back there.
Yeah, no, I see. My name is Pat Ashley. I am currently living in Pine Ridge, South Dakota, on the Pine Ridge Reservation, and I have an auto glass business that I started in Arizona, and we moved up here 3 years ago. I am from the Navajo Nation, moved up here to this reservation. So I have an auto glass and services company here in town. I'm just trying to build it up and trying to get some more insight on all of that.
And your first name is Patrick?
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, we did a class in Tuba City.
Oh, wow.
And a Navajo lady there also did auto glass.
Yeah, her name is yeah, I know who she is.
And she was doing quite well, right?
Yeah, she has two shops about 100 miles away from each other.
Yeah,
Yep.
she was doing replacement of broken glass.
Yep.
And Tuba City is how far from Flagstaff?
An hour and a half.
So folks who
Hour
broke a
and a half.
glass in Tuba City would have to go to Flagstaff until she came in. And I guess
Yep.
was she a competitor?
Not really. She was I used to work at the coal mine, the Peabody coal mine, as a glass cutter. And she was the one that supplied the glass. And I would go over there, pick up the glass, bring it back to the mine site, cut it there. And these are for dozers, backhoe, drag lines and stuff like that. And I know her personally, and I just can't remember her name.
And she was quite successful, having run 3 or 4,
Yes.
2 or 3 shops. She was very successful. She
Yeah,
also
very.
had Chris had some government contracts.
Yep.
Doing
With
work,
the IHS.
replacing, working GSA trucks and
Yep.
vehicles.
GSA.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a good idea, Ashley. I like
Yeah.
that one. Hey,
Yeah,
how's the
so-
internet service up there?
Oh man, this internet service is a lot better than Flagstaff, Arizona service. I can
Okay.
tell you that much.
Well, Ashley, we're glad to have you there with us. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And what would you like to learn? The most thing if you'd like to learn?
I would like to learn the basic setup for a business. I have a mobile business now, but I want to learn about in-house business, like the paperwork, more of the paperwork, and how to run from point A to point B.
Okay. We'll try to touch on a little bit of that, but we've got our limits
Yeah.
with this class here. So we're going to actually try to later on actually have some more in-person classes and hope to see all you guys face to face. Okay,
Yeah,
let
that'd
me
be
work
great.
across. Appreciate you joining us. Hey, and by
Thank
the
you.
way, don't go hiding back there. We want to see you, just see if you're there all the time, okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just at work. I'm just doing a lot of, I work at the school here.
Which school?
In Pine Ridge, at
Okay.
Wolf Creek.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
work
good.
here, and we're just putting a bunch of paperwork together. So for virtual learning.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to pick on you a lot now that I know you, okay?
Hey,
Yeah,
Patrick.
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Patrick, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That picture behind you, that's in Nebraska, isn't it? Going
You're
down,
right on.
going down
You are
Interstate
right
80.
on.
It's about 40 miles west of me.
Oh wow, yeah, that's where I opened up my big mouth, and a lady said, "Oh, I need to go pick up a car. I'll help you drive," not knowing it was 9 hours away from where I'm at, and we
Yeah.
drove right through that place.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ashley, good to see you. Patrick,
Hey.
good to see you here, okay?
Thank you.
Listen, we work across. Jeanette, we haven't got you yet, right? Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, we did.
We got
Yes,
you,
I done
Jeanette?
did.
What's that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you did.
Okay, I'm working away. Who did we not get? We've got,
Aisha Love and Jasmine Lane.
okay. Aisha? Aisha? Are you there? We're knocking on your door.
Yes, I am here. Sorry.
We're not going to let you hide back there. You can't have that 4th or 5th cup of coffee hiding in the back. So
Well,
could you-
I have little ones, so I just didn't want to have them in the background.
Hey, I think we've all had kids too, so we're okay. So could you introduce yourself a little bit?
Yes, my name is Aisha Love. I am the owner of Daddy B's Barbecue. We started out with a food trailer a couple of years back. We also we started a location, a brick and mortar in Haskell. Sorry for the background. We started in Haskell. We also started a second location in Omogi, Oklahoma. So we're looking to expand. It's actually just my husband actually runs the business. I'm just the brains behind everything. I'm actually a medical technologist and I'm employed through Creek Nation. So that's a little bit. I just want to expand, be able to expand whatever I can to expand. This is something my husband loves to do, and it's actually phenomenal. So if anybody ever in Omogi or Haskell, stop through.
And what's the name of the place?
Daddy B's Barbecue.
Daddy B's?
Daddy B's.
Daddy B's.
It's the best barbecue you'll ever have, I promise.
And who's giving that? Is that Chris?
It's Eric.
Okay. So normally when we do our in-person classes, on the second end of the second day, everybody shares. So maybe we can send you our addresses and you can send a little bit of barbecue for us, and let's see how it compares with this Texas barbecue down here.
They said it's big in Texas. It puts Texas to shame for sure.
Well, you put a challenge up for us, so we're gonna have to maybe try some of that out. So
yes, sir.
So great, glad to have you here. Okay, yes, I need you guys' help. Who else did we not get in terms of introductions? Do we have Jasmine?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Jasmine, that's a great photo. That's a pretty good
Thank
too.
you.
So maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Jasmine Lang. Aisha Love is actually my sister-in-law. And so she's connected me with Eric Starr. So very thankful for her advice and tips and kind of pushing me to kind of step out. Oops. Sorry, on my phone, had a phone call come in. So she is kind of the reason, a big part of the reason why I have stepped out and pushed myself to actually start a business. Sorry, my husband keeps calling me. And so my business is graphic design. I've actually done a lot of Daddy B's design, graphic design, layouts, decals, also social media stuff, t-shirt design. So she's kind of showing you just a little bit of what I've done for them. But so I've only just started a Facebook account, really just kind of get the word out there. It did start out as a hobby and something I love to do, and it just kind of grew, and it started out as just me doing stuff for Daddy B's just because I like doing it. And they were like, you have really good work, so why don't you push it? So I just literally started a couple months ago. I've gotten a lot of business since I've actually created a Facebook page. I currently live in Boynton, Oklahoma. So we're with Creek Nation. I work for Northeastern State University as Assistant Director of Student Engagement. So that's kind of added to my love. It's just doing stuff within event planning and stuff like that. But the main thing I want to get out of this program is just more tips and advice on how to just grow the business. I have a pretty good idea, but I want more of the behind the scenes budgeting, a business plan. Where do I want to go? Where do I start? And so I want to do things right. And I'm kind of just slowly crept out on my passion. And so that's why I've just started with the Facebook. I eventually want to do my website and all of that, but I just want to make sure I have everything in place and feel confident about what I'm doing before I just fully put it out there. I also have other plans, you know, this is kind of my thing, but then my husband is really interested in cattle. So once, I think it was Annette that mentioned her and her husband are doing agriculture and cattle with their calves and stuff. I really would be interested in talking with you as well, Christopher, more about what that looks like on the back end side as well, just outside of what I have going on too. So
yeah, and we could look at those businesses both at the same time. We could look at your agribusiness options with your husband, and then also with your graphic design as a more standard business. We could help you on both sides. And Eric's a great point of contact. But if you need to reach out to me directly, Eric can give you my email. I'll be glad to help you.
Yes, Eric has been great. He's the one who kind of introduced me to this program. So I've been working with him a little bit as well, and I'm definitely appreciative of his expertise. So yeah, so I have to jump out for just a second for my a meeting because I am at work, but then I will hop right back in. So, but I didn't want to miss intros before I kind of exited and came back in.
Well, good to see you. Please join us when you can, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so who do we not have here? You guys look at the screen. Who did not get a chance to introduce themselves? Did we get
Did you
everybody?
get Arnetta and Caitlin?
Arnetta and Caitlin. Arnetta, are you there?
Yeah, got.
You got us. I did unmute. You got Eric and I, my husband and myself.
Okay, yeah, we got you guys. Good, good. And Caitlin, did we have you? Oh.
Did we get April?
Caitlin, does everybody know about you yet?
No.
Okay, step on up.
Okay, my name is Caitlin Gunville. I'm from the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe. I live here in Mission, South Dakota. I am currently taking business classes. I'm going for my bachelor's in business management. I joined this workshop just to learn anything and everything I need to know. And what's holding me back right now is I'm still in school and I have no funds to start anything, but my dreams are to open a welding and mechanic shop because I like to weld, and my fiance is a really good mechanic and that's something he wants to do. Or a bakery. I've always wanted a bakery, and I was a manager at a bakery for a few years and I liked it a lot, so hopefully that comes into play. And I've also watched my older sister start her business from like the beginning all the way up till now. She had a food truck at that she would take to powwows, and it's called Oriental Express. It still goes around, like, well, since COVID started it hasn't, but she also opened up her own steakhouse in Eagle Butte, South Dakota. So I got to watch from a little food truck, like working for her since I was like young, and then watching it transform into a whole steakhouse. So she has a big steakhouse in Eagle Butte, and that's pretty cool to see her do that. So I also want to start my own business. Yeah, she's kind of my idol.
So Caitlin, who's your sister? What's
her name is Cheryl DePries.
Cheryl.
Yes.
Now,
Cheryl
you're up in
DePries.
Standing Rock?
I'm from Standing Rock, but the past 7 years I was living in Eagle Butte, so on the Cheyenne River Reservation. And now I am on the Rosebud Reservation in Mission, South Dakota.
And your sister, is she up in Standing Rock area?
She is in Cheyenne River.
Cheyenne River, okay.
Yeah.
Just I try to make these connections. We had a lady who joined us in a workshop in Standing Rock down at the incubation center. And her idea was doing a food truck. It's like 4 or 5 years ago, out on the res in Standing Rock.
Oh,
And she was an exercise person, and she wanted to do a food truck, and she went through the evaluations of a food truck and finally realized she wanted to do smoothies on the res. I don't know if that's the same person. This was 4 or 5 years ago, different person. Okay.
No, my sister's was an actual like food truck. So like on the powwow trail, she sold like Oriental food, like lo mein, lumpias, and stuff like that. But now she owns her own steakhouse, so a steakhouse and bar, basically.
Steakhouse and bar. And in Cheyenne, what city?
In Eagle Butte.
Eagle Butte, okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you, Caitlin. And let's see. Last, if not, did we get April?
Hello.
Hi, April.
Hi, April.
Hi.
Introduce us a little bit.
All right. I'm April Satchel, and this is my granddaughter here, India. I'm originally from South Dakota, Belle Fourche area, but now I'm here in Nebraska. I am a Native advocate. I created the Lakota Tribes of Nebraska. Right now, we're just kind of at the network stage. Some of the services that we have provided so far is face masks. We sent about 500 up to Rapid City for the COVID positive families. We then sent almost 1,600 to Rosebud. That's the tribe I am. And the Indians are here in Lincoln. We provided 600 masks for LPS's Indian education back to the school backpack. The advocating I do is for MMIW, murdered and missing, Indigenous women, men, and children. You can see some of my work if you Google me, but in addition to that, I'm also the Midwest only Indigenous female hip hop artist. And I've been doing that since '99. And so I did attend college 5 different times, all on associate degree levels, and pretty proud of that because I am the first college graduate and was the first high school graduate in my family. So I would like to create the Lakota Tribe Center, and the reason for that is because our Indian Center is not operating. It's not providing services to the community, and unfortunately, it's due to misappropriation of funds. And we have, Nebraska is home to it's down at the bottom, just down and separating Todd County roads, but people aren't aware of that. It's actually 66 county in Nebraska, Cherry County. We have the Winnebago, we got the Ponca, and we have the Omaha. So I don't know. Until I moved here, I never experienced any intertribal racism, and now that I've been here, it's sad. It's because where I'm from, I'm just pretty much.
So April, what city are you in? Or
Lincoln.
Lincoln. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep.
later on, you're going to give us a performance, right?
Absolutely. Well, Lakota Tribes just had the MMIW event August 25th at Antelope Park. And I'd like to say that was a success. It's volume 2, so round 2, year 2. So we do, I am offering services and I am doing, we are doing things. So I guess the barrier right now is, getting our building going.
Okay. Well, April, glad to have you join us. So your primary focus, to make sure I'm clear, in terms of your business, what would be your primary focus of your business?
Okay, well, as a community center, servicing our Indigenous community.
Okay.
What I noticed from the Indian Center's model, they just celebrated 51 years. And what I noticed is in those 51 years, they never created their own source of income. And so my approach is to begin a Head Start program.
Okay.
3 levels, 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, and give us some self-worth. Here we have no self-worth community-wide, but it's because if we did, Winnebago owns you know, half of the banking, system, the native bank. And so we have plenty of resources. Why isn't our center operating?
Okay, so April, one of the things we're going to do is try to build a business model. And it can apply
Absolutely.
for community facilities, nonprofits, and businesses. So that's one of the projects we'll work on here starting this afternoon. So we're awfully happy to,
Awesome.
happy to have you join us.
At first I was thinking, thank you. At first I was thinking, oh, this is entrepreneur. And then I said, well, I have to think like an entrepreneur.
Well, you're just a social entrepreneur. Social
Yes.
entrepreneur creating ideas. So for me, there's no different from a nonprofit and a for-profit other than the funds go back to the business or back to the organization versus one that goes back to the individual. But you still have to have a high performance organization. Okay? Let's see, did we get
Absolutely.
everybody? Help me out. Chris, Eric, Pete, did we get everybody introductions?
I think we've got everybody, unless I have a bad memory, but I think we've hit everyone.
Okay, so let's do this. What I'd like to do, I'd like to get a short break here. And then we'll kick off and do the business model. So I have on my clock, I got 11:20. How about
Yep,
7
that's what I have.
minutes? 7 minutes, let's be back. And then I'm only gonna give you 3 minutes leeway. So 10 minutes back, we'll start back at 11:30 here, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right, short break. All right, thanks, Jeanette. Thanks. You guys can use those response comments. Hey, Chris. So 10 minutes, we'll get back.
Hey, if you guys can hear me, all the Muskogee Creek citizens, hey, I appreciate you guys coming on today. I'm very excited for all you guys' business ventures. If you guys need to have any other questions, just you guys all have my cell phone or my email address. So once again, I appreciate you guys coming on and going through this training session with all of us and all the instructors, Kyle, Harrison. We appreciate every one of you guys, Pete and Christopher as well. Thank you.
I'm not sure what I missed. My cell phone dropped, so I'm trying to add it back on my desktop. I was briefly off maybe 2 minutes.
Aisha, is it Aisha?
Aisha, yes, sir.
Hey, we're taking a 10-minute break and we'll start back at 11:30 Central.
Okay.
Short break, we'll start back up 11:30.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, are we ready to go? Let's see some of these reactions. Got to practice some of this stuff here. Okay, we're going to go. Okay, Caitlin, gotcha. All right, double thumbs up. Good. Okay, another 30 seconds and we'll start back up. So for you guys, John, can you see my screen? Can you see me pretty good? Or you're mute? John, you're still on mute.
Hey, Kyle.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I'm setting up that poll number 4 that you wanted to use.
Okay.
Apparently I have the power, so I'll have that done here in just a minute.
Okay. So as you guys start wandering in here, I want to show you a couple things here. So can you see, okay, I'm scanning around my office here. Picture of my mom and dad. My dad went to the Indian boarding school of Sequoia. First language was Cherokee. That was one of his first gifts he gave us when we were growing up. Just a trail of tears kind of thing. So sorry, I get the liberty of I'm not going to scan too far to my back to show you how messy my office is. Okay, and that's over here. You see the clock? My brother actually built, as his small business, some Cherokee clocks. And so it's got the Cherokee syllabary here on the back. Okay, we got everybody ready to go? Okay, I'm going to pull up the screen a little bit here. We're going to walk through a couple slides. And then I'd like to get a little exercise on doing some polling here. And then we're going to actually do looking at some business plans. And then we're going to spend, just an introduction to the website. And then we're going to try to get some work on a business model. Eric, do you guys use Business Canvas model at all?
We use AgPlan and some of the SBA on our 3-year projection plans.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to introduce a tool set. I think it's helpful.
Okay.
Called a Business Canvas model.
Absolutely.
And Chris, have you guys used that or seen it done before?
I saw Pete's demonstration of it from the Initiate platform. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the Business Canvas model. And Caitlin, it's a pretty good idea. Michael, it's a pretty good idea for sort of bringing together all your ideas around a business. Arnetta, it's a good one for you guys. So I'm going to ask you guys all to think about it later on today. Okay, let me pull up. I'm going to share the screen. Just a couple of introductory remarks here. Let's just see. And John, give me some feedback if you see what I see. So, okay, so what I'd like to do is a couple polls here. John, can you see my screen there?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'd like for those that have access real quick, John, are you ready to poll or you need a few minutes?
We're ready on that same quiz. I just set this one up.
Okay, great. So what I'd like you guys to do me a favor here and just poll here. Do a vote. Vote. And John, we can vote on one, right?
Yep, just one choice.
So tell me why you think businesses fail. Look across the res, look across the community. Tell me why you think businesses fail. Let's get your polling up here. Everybody can see the poll, right? Okay,
yeah, we've got some votes.
Okay, I got votes coming in. Hey, and don't be copying whatever's got the lead here. This is not a political party here.
Hey Kyle, real quick.
Yeah.
If you would move that polling window that just popped up, it blocks the PowerPoint. Any
Okay.
Zoom windows you have open, that it'll block it. So just move it off just a little.
Okay, so I moved it on my screen.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, good. Okay, everybody, we got only 8, we've got 11 votes. Okay, that's not bad. Couple more minutes. Okay, lack of a business model. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to so we've got here, who said it's get out competed? Can you just unmute and tell me why?
Basically, because I think all those categories fall in there. If you're not competing, if you're not marketing or getting your business out there, setting a platform, or even have a roadmap to your success, I feel like you're getting out competed. Everybody else is out there setting up and marketing, and if you're not a people person, you might as well, I don't know, get a regular job, because I feel like if you have to be a people person to reach out and get your business going.
Okay, and that was Eric, right? Okay.
Yes.
Who voted ran out of cash? Why do you think that's number one?
Personally, that's my biggest issue.
It's your biggest issue? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, who said pricing cost issues? We had one person do that. What do you think?
That was myself, Michael here.
Okay. Well, let me just pull up a slide here. Let's see. Here's the results. Can you guys see both the poll and the results? John,
Can you move?
I can
Yeah.
see results.
Can you see?
Yeah, now I can see it.
You can see it?
There you go.
We checked this out, and I know this is 2014, but I verified it. Okay, I'm scanning over here. Everybody see the screen? Well, the data would come back and say, hey, the first one is no market need. Nobody voted for that one. Second one, of course, was ran out of cash. Third is not the right team. The fourth is get out hustled. Pricing and cost issues, poor product, and the lack of business model. So we're actually, our group is thinking, so Pete, what do we mean by no market need? What is that one? Or Pete or Chris?
Yeah, the no market need is where you think there's a great demand. There's no demand for your product. You may have thought so, but the reality is there's no demand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris.
And I think a lot of the reason why the voting with lacking a business model would be so important, especially among the clients we work with, is because having a good business plan helps you avoid all the other problems. If you're planning well, you're considering all these other things. So yeah, I've seen where people have had a hobby and people talk them up at church or whatever ground and love and buy. So they've got a small circle, and then they think, well, hey, I can go big time with this and quit my job and start a business. But really, they'd already saturated the market with who liked them, and there wasn't really a bigger market. So yeah, people can delude themselves on understanding how big the market is or isn't, and doing some surveying is really important so that they don't devote cash to something that can't keep going.
Arnett.
Something I learned for myself in one of my businesses. People that, I had an inspection company, and houses weren't turning enough to need inspections as often as I thought they would.
Yeah, some would say there's just not enough customers. Arnetta, what are you thinking? You raised your hand. And you guys use this raise this hand capability, or if you got questions or comments. Arnetta.
Yeah, the reason that I said that was because it's based on a biblical principle that without a vision, you perish. I mean, you have to write a vision and make it plain so that if something even happened to you or one of your partners, that it can be picked up and you've got a plan that goes out, 3 to 5 years. And, in our thinking, native culture, we think in generations. So without that vision, a proper vision, you're winging it day by day, month by month, year by year.
Yeah,
A plan can always change, but you got to have one.
Yeah, some people would say you got to begin with the end in mind.
Exactly.
The end in mind is this vision or this plan or this model. Okay. Other comments? Somebody out there? Oh, I was going to pick on Patrick. Patrick, you still there?
Yes, I am.
I'm not letting you off the hook there, buddy.
That's fine.
Which vote, where did you vote? Which one did you vote on?
Which one did I pick? I picked the lack of business model.
Okay. All right.
That's the one I picked. Only because I see a lot of the folks here in Pine Ridge, they don't, they lack the business model. They lack one guy said, the people person skills. I mean, the business, there's not a lot of businesses here, but the ones that I've seen that have gone under, no motivation, the lack of business model, no vision. And I guess that I was thinking that fell in that category.
Okay, good. Any other comments?
There they are.
I heard some whispering there.
That was me.
Okay. Yeah, as a presenter, I can't see you guys, so I may need some feedback, Chris, on how I set this up so I can see you guys and still present. But right now,
I don't know that you can.
Yeah, this is a feature that may need to be added to Zoom. Okay,
Yeah,
so what I'd like to do is
the
go
chat
ahead.
box and stuff. We can help you. We can help you keep an eye on the chat box and people raising hands. The other presenters, we can kind of give you a clue.
Okay, great.
Yeah, for
Now
sure.
let me do this. Any other comments here? All right. So let me go on. I'm going to close down the poll, and then I'm going to pull up this PowerPoint here. Okay, so here's the data. 60% of all new businesses fail. Eric, you think that number is low or high?
I think it's right about. I think it's right.
Okay.
Because a lot of small businesses, if you don't come in with a roadmap to your success, you're going to fail. And a lot of times it's on the financial end of it where they're spending monies that they shouldn't be instead of building on their capital.
Okay. Caitlin, is the same thing true? Have you seen this out in Cheyenne?
Wait, what?
Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Do you think that number is true? About 60% of businesses fail?
No, I don't think so.
What do you think the real number is?
It might be that high, but I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So one of the things that should be thinking about as we go through this is one of the reasons we think that businesses may not be successful on the startup as they should be, or even sustain themselves. We're going to try to, it's not having sort of not beginning with the end in mind, not having a business plan or a business model. So I want to just talk briefly a little bit about this concept of thinking about the future. So here's sort of a curve. I'm a visual guy. And where do you guys see yourselves on this curve? Are you more startups or checking out and building the business model, or somewhere growing? Michael, where are you on the curve?
I would like to consider myself as a growth, building upon the way I see it. Once I get this small business lawn business up and running, it'll lead into other avenues that I'm able to take, you know, expand my skill set, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So a lot of times you go through this cycle. It's like the first thing you got to figure out is, do I really want to go do this? They call it sort of drive and fit. Do I really want to go do this? The second is you got to come up with this sort of idea. Narrow down your focus. And then the third is you start up. Now you should have a business plan or a business model already complete. But as you start to grow, you got to confirm the business model. So why do you think, Jeanette, why do you think there's a dip right here? Because this is revenue, this is time. Why do you think there's a dip right here? Why do you think there's a dip? Who's got an idea why there's a dip right here? Raise your hand or go ahead and speak. Jeanette, what do you think? Corbin.
That's when you find out you have to pay taxes.
Yeah, you got to start paying stuff. You got to start buying stuff. Who's our general contractor? Who's that? That's a Caleb.
Also, unexpected things happen where you have to spend money, not only just taxes or, you know, from experience with us. I mean, the hot water tank and the, you know, everything we had to do was commercial, you know, for as the restaurant. So things are way more costly. And
yeah, so you start this out, you start spending, you start buying, you start getting into the ditch here.
Right.
So what happens here? Why do we start turning up like this? What happens here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
It's where the foundation is laid and the foundation is solid. Now you can start building. Without a proper foundation, you'll keep sinking. You'll keep going deeper. It has to be laid in order for you to start moving up, something to build upon.
Yeah, to build upon. Now, does the business model change over time?
Yes.
Or the foundation, does that change?
I think you tweak things as you go, you learn, you grow.
So one of the things we think about as you start these business models and business plans is you can come up with something, but what is it? You got to come up with something, and then what you want to do is confirm it. Talk to people, confirm the model, confirm that concept, and then once it's confirmed, tweak it, grow it. Now what happens here? What happens here when we start crossing this line right here?
Start breathing a little easier.
What's that?
I said you start breathing a little easier because you're not burning cash.
Yeah, you're not burning cash. And so what happens, John, if we're not burning cash? What made this inflection point?
Real live paying customers.
Yeah, someone's giving you money for your first deal. First customers. Then you gain more customers. And then what happens here when you cross this line? Now there's a break-even point. Then we start to grow and become sustainable business. So just sort of think of this as a business life cycle. And one of the things by having a good business model or plan, what we want to do is make sure this dip is shallower. The break-even is sooner. And the growth is faster. So every model is a little different. Every life cycle is a little different. But what we want to be thinking about is making this a little bit more shallower. We're spending less money, and we're getting our money back quicker and accelerating. So they call this sort of a business life cycle.
Hey, Kyle, on that back there was the, I think the key things, and as you go through that, are the accounting basics, financial management, and cash flow, because you can start your business, and if you're not paying good attention to those three things, You could have a freight train coming down the tracks and not know it. So you got to really be conscious of your QuickBooks accounting, cash flow, financial management, and even financial ratios.
Okay. Eric,
And paying your taxes. That's come up at a bunch of our in-person seminars. Some people, they'll be losing money and they'll get behind on payroll taxes, and all of a sudden Uncle Sam shows up at your door and you're done. And that's just planning and discipline.
Jeanette, what are you thinking?
Okay. So my husband and I, we are going to we're not getting any loans. We're going to just basically do this out of our pocket because we're able to do that for right now. But we've decided that we're going to start out small. We're not going to carry a bunch of of a large variety of tack or supplies. And so we're just basically going to just start out small and then go from there and just keep investing our money from where we start out small and hopefully grow and just keep recycling our money back into our business, paying taxes, doing all that. So would you suggest starting out just the necessities of what we're carrying? And then if we see that people are wanting more things, going out and then getting the more things that they need?
And so some folks would call that sort of like an organic growth. I mean, Chris or Eric or Pete, any feedback or comments, Jeanette, on that one?
I think it's huge on the supply and demand. You're going to know right out the bat who wants what, and basically when you build your inventory, instead of going and wasting money on a certain product, you're going to know the supply and demand of what's selling, what's you're capitalizing on, and continue to grow. Another thing too on this business cycle right there, it does make a lot of sense because a lot of people are going to have losses in the first and second year. You can't get discouraged. You got to keep on building. You got to keep growing. And once you hit that red line, that's when your capital is going to start growing, and that's when the growth revenues start coming in. So yeah.
And that's good. Those are great points. I want to build on that though. Debt as a vehicle is not a bad thing. If you find you're developing demand and you can't supply someone's need in time because you're having to wait and it's 3 weeks or 4 weeks before they get the item, they're going to go to another vendor. So you may want to think about a sufficient pool of capital if you need it in the term of a loan. Don't be afraid of it. I think going small is good and it's wise from a stewardship, but cash flow is incredibly important, and part of that is wisely using vehicles for cash, whether that's lines of credit or a loan, so that you can have what your clients need in time to meet that demand. You always want to stay where you have enough capital to meet that need. And so if you're completely cash based, you might find yourself in a cash flow tight squeeze that you can't get inventory or product in time for your clients to need it. So don't be afraid of debt, but be wise in how you use it. And that's why platforms like Pete mentioned, like QuickBooks, are so important, because you can look at what's going on. So I tell people to do a business plan, and then I use a football analogy. You make a plan for your season, and then every game, and including during the game, you're making adjustments. So make your plan, but you also need to have enough cash or ready cash and know what your turnaround on supplies is for your tack business, because if you can't meet their need, they're going to go somewhere else. And so really managing your market and seeing what that's like is going to need to be there. So I don't know how much cash you have, but if it's, and if you're having people that are doing custom things, I can see a long window, but you don't be afraid of debt, but be careful with cash flow, because you do have that debt service, the payment to make back. But debt is a tool, and it's a tool that can help you in business. So just keep your mind open to that, so that you can kind of know where to go.
All right. Thank you.
Good. Jeanette, keep the questions going on, because we don't have really a talkative group here. You're going to have to get some more talking going on here.
Hey, Kyle,
Yeah,
another
go ahead.
thing, Another thing to throw out, we work with a lot of startups, and one thing that always raises a flag with me is I'll have somebody come in and they're all excited, but they've got two business models. And usually when you really get to talking to them in any depth, they haven't researched either one of them very well. It's that same situation where they have a friend saying that they'd be good, but then if they're going to throw that up against the wall. But if that's not good enough, then they've got this other idea that they haven't researched real well to fall back on. And I guess what I try to tell them is starting a business is hard enough, but trying to start two different business models at the same time with limited resources is almost impossible. So I always try and get them to focus on one and research, and maybe they go with the backup. Maybe the backup one is a better idea, but you've got to do your homework before you get too far.
Okay.
John, can I ask a question then?
Sure.
Because there are, with agriculture, you have multiple things going. You could have wheat, hay, management, then you could have your own cow-calf operation, you could have gardening, and all those things are are separate entities, but they all flow together. So would you include them all in the business model or focus on each one separately?
Well, I mean,
Could I
it
take
really
that?
gets, go ahead.
Arnetta, with ag especially, your business has multiple seasons within a calendar year. You've got crops that are going in, crops that are going out. You've got cow calves you're breeding, you've got, animals you're weaning. You might be selling out the babies, you might not. You might be buying cows that are already been inseminated. You've got different things. So really you need to think about each one of those as products within your whole plan, and a timeline within each product of what you had, when you incur expenses, and when you're going to sell, and what kind of cash you're going to see. So I think you need to look at it like a comprehensive whole, in each little thing you do like a product. And then there's timelines and costs within each product. Does that make sense? Yeah, and the Ag Plan site with Center for Farm Financial Management can help you with that a lot. Okay.
So Chris, maybe tomorrow or the next day you can show us or link us to that site. Okay.
I'd be happy to on Wednesday. Tomorrow I've got a loan closing, so Eric will be on the call and I won't.
Okay, Wednesday would be a better time. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let me flip through a couple things because I want to get to this business model before we get out of here today. Because I'm seeing it's about noon and we got about 30 minutes here to go. So when you set up a business, you go through this life cycle, and you go through these sort of steps. The first one is, do I really want to be an entrepreneur? The second one is getting these ideas, the model, and the plan in place. Then you start this thing up and you make it legal, launch your marketing, confirm your model. You get your numbers in shape for growth. So this is sort of a simple sort of startup steps here. Let me go in and I'll come back to this in a second, come back to the website. But one of the things you want to be clear on is having a sort of a path forward, So up here, who sees this screen up here? Where do you think this is located? Anybody got an idea? Jeanette, where do you think this is located? Caitlin, Caleb, where do you think this picture is from?
Somewhere in Oklahoma. That's about all.
Somewhere in Oklahoma.
Well, it's.
Oh wait, no, it says Peru right there.
Yeah, it's the north. It's up. It's in Barrow, Alaska. And we did a workshop in Barrow, which is the north slope of Alaska. And you can see they point back to Will Rogers' birthplace at the Iron Ranch. Because the reason I talk about this is when you develop these plans, there are many directions to go through. And in this particular location, they had all these different arrows pointing to different locations. And the interesting side note on this This is where Wiley Post and Will Rogers crashed and died. And Chris, was Wiley Post, he was Creek, right? You guys know Wiley Post? I thought he was Creek. But Will Rogers and Wiley Post crashed their plane up here in Barrow. And you can see they point back to this sort of iron ranch here. But the key thing is I want you to be thinking about is that at every juncture, you got to have this sort of path to move forward. And there are always so many different directions here. So part of having that path, you've got to ask yourself these simple questions. Should I plan or not to plan? We've had this discussion already this morning around why we should offer, why should plan or not plan. So a couple things we want to be thinking about is, you know, what are we going to offer? Can this offering actually be sustainable? And what we'll see many times is the biggest mistakes entrepreneurs make is they actually don't have a plan. They don't have a model. They're not even thinking about the future. They're jumping right in. So one of the big benefits of having this plan or model is trying to help you see around the corners. Help you see around the corners, and you can help sort of identify problems before they show up. So what I'd like to do is we have a few minutes, and I'd like to maybe give this about 10 minutes. One, it's also get some practice here. So what I'd like to do is, why don't we, John, break up into 3 teams. And before we break up, what I'd like you to do is we're going to break up into 3 teams and come up with a business idea. And part of that business idea, I want you to be thinking about identifying the industry, the business, the customer, the product or service you'll offer, and if you get a chance, a business name. And I'd like you to put these out on a whiteboard. It's to get a little bit of practice, and we're actually going to design a business and build a business model from these three themes. Okay, so if you could write down before we break out, because you're going to look at different screens. You got industry, business, customer, products and services, and a business name. So John, if you would take one group, Harrison, if you would take another group, and I'll take a third group, and we'll give this 15 minutes, no more.
Okay.
And I'd like you to just to think about a business in your community or in your breakout group. Is there a business we want to develop on? And remember, this is just practice. So if you don't get, if we're not designing around your business, you can do that as homework later today. Okay, so we're going to give this 15 minutes and break out into our groups here. Okay, so Harrison, can you go ahead and send us to our breakout groups?
Yeah, do you just want me to randomly assign them?
Yeah, let's do randomly assign.
Okay. All right, just give me 1 second here.
And then we had a guy who joined us. Mark, are you there? He's just going to join us a little bit later. Okay. So let's just see who I get. So give it a minute. So
I think we did have somebody join us, Paul.
Okay.
Paul, are you there? I think you're on mute, Paul. There you go.
Okay, so let's, as we talk, what are some business ideas around businesses that we could think about on the res? What's a business idea? What's a new business we'd like to start up? Let's brainstorm before we break up. Come on.
Looks like we've got some people on mute talking.
Okay.
So just make sure you're unmuted before you answer.
I'm going to unmute all, if you can.
So you're looking for an example, like?
Yeah, let's give an example.
Heating and cooling business.
Okay, you got a heating and cooling business. What's another one?
We've got lawn care that
Lawn
I know
care.
one of the clients.
We heard
wants
you
to
guys
do.
talk about that. Lawn care. What's a couple of your other businesses? We've got cattle.
Pet trade,
What's that one?
exotic pet trade.
Exotic pet trade.
Yeah.
And if we break up in these teams, pick something that's a little bit of fun. You know, it can be something we normally don't think about. What are you thinking, Caitlin?
I'll just say contractor work. It's about all I know.
Contractor? Okay. All right. Let me know, Harrison, when you're ready to break us up.
I've got them assigned, so as soon as you're ready, we'll split up.
Let's split. Think about those
All right.
businesses. Maybe pick one in your own group. Okay, go ahead and split us up into two.
Looks like we made it, Michael. There he is.
All right.
I tried to leave. So are we the only ones back?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's see how these other folks come back now.
So who did we lose there? We lost Caleb,
And Aisha.
Aisha, and Eric.
And yeah.
Aisha, there she is.
He's still instructing them how to leave the breakout. So they'll be here shortly.
So Aisha, what is the name of your place, your barbecue place?
Daddy B's Barbecue.
Danny B's?
Daddy B's.
Daddy B's.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you located at in Omogi?
We have a location in Haskell, and then we have a location in Omogi downtown on 6th Street.
Okay. Where's the net? Whereabouts? What's it next to down there in Omogi?
Right past the Fort Loss in Omogi.
Yeah. Okay.
You won't miss it. It's on the main. It's on the main drag on 6th Street.
Oh, it's on the south side of the road, the south side of 6th Street.
Yes, you will not miss it, and it's always parked. You'll see. You won't miss it. It stays pretty busy right
Well,
there.
that's a good spot right there for you.
Yes, it's been going pretty well.
How long have you been there?
Excuse me.
How long have you been there?
February 29th was our grand opening. So we opened like weeks before the pandemic.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a lot that we've had to adjust to, and it's different areas, so it's different than our restaurant in Haskell. So I've had to learn everything, revamp everything. And I mean, I thought it was going to be like, okay, just mimic everything we did in Haskell, but no, by far. It's like I just started. We started a whole new business basically.
Yeah, the website that we're going to introduce you to, it has a lot of, actually it has a COVID-19 reopening for restaurants on there. So there's a lot of financial resources on the website that will introduce you to a 90-day financial scenario for reopening, because your business model probably have a number of seats inside your restaurant. So if you have a limited capacity imposed by the state, that might affect it too. So I think you'll like that.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna go get Harrison. Okay, guys.
Hey, we're back, Kyle, just so you know.
Okay, our group's back. Let me go.
Yeah, there's also a reopening your business checklist on there for COVID, and then there's also a spreadsheet that's already set up that you can make projections for your business, and it goes 25, 75, 25, 50, 75. of your projections, and it breaks out your cash flow. So, and then it also determines your break-even point. So I think that'll be good for you.
Jeanette, I didn't even see you in our group. I wasn't ignoring you though. I was in like 2 or 3. I was like in 2 groups, so I had to mute on one, and I only seen like 2 other people in our group. But I wasn't ignoring you. You had some good questions.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're back. Everybody
I'm gonna
back?
close all the rooms now.
Close them
I
all,
think we're-
send them all back in.
I think we're missing 3 people.
We had a little difficulty on finding the leave the room command, so.
Some might have actually left the meeting on accident, just right above it.
Yeah. They're ready to go make that money already.
I guess that's feedback on how to join.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do a couple things real quick.
One
Michael.
second here, Kyle. It's still closing. Sorry, it's glitching out a little bit.
It's taking that much time to close?
Yeah, it's insisting on giving it a minute for everyone to come back. I can't end them immediately, and I think we're at about 10 seconds here.
Okay, we'll count it down.
11, 9. All right, I think we should be good here in a second.
Okay, so I think we did lose a few people here. So we formed 3 teams. Michael, what's our team?
Smokehouse.
Smokehouse. Because guess who's our technical advisor?
Aisha.
Yeah, so we got the barbecue. So we got a smokehouse food truck. John, what did you guys create?
Well, we decided we were going to go real life and develop the 918 exotics that Corbin has going. And since it's lunchtime here, we've got some visual aids Corbin's going to wave at you. Take it away, Corbin. Oh, you're muted. There you go.
All right, Corbin, we love it.
You're muted, Corbin.
I'm gonna unmute myself. Okay, can you see the centipede in the background?
Yeah.
That's one of my Malaysian cherry legs. I sold that. I have a lot of these. This is a dwarf came in here. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me pull some more stuff up. These, I shipped a few of these out this morning. This is called a, see that? Called a polymorpha. It's a desert dwelling centipede. And they're not worth too much, but it's something I add on. You know, I give customers the option to, because these orders are expensive. Overnight shipping on these animals is close to $70 to $100. So I like to have stuff laying around I can throw in just for a few extra bucks, or sometimes even throw customer stuff for free if they're returning customers, because I like to keep that return business, definitely.
So we got 3 businesses, and Corbin, we're going to share a little bit more tomorrow or the next day, okay?
Okay.
So we got a few minutes to wrap up here. So we've got a smokehouse, we've got exotic animals, and what's the third one?
And bugs.
And we decided to go with a like a kind of how to teach non-digital natives how to use modern technology like Zoom meetings, like social media, texting, like that. Just like people who previously haven't really done a lot with technology, but they need to now because of COVID, and they want to talk to their families and their kids and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's sort of an online learning community.
Okay, so
I like that.
So here's what we've got, and we're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes because I know, you've got commitments and times going on. So what I wanted to do today was introduce this business idea. But what I wanted to do also with this is introduce this business canvas model. And let me show you this. And then who got a business canvas model in their email on their handouts? Did everybody receive it?
I did.
Okay. So part of the homework tonight is either try to complete as much as you can on that business canvas model, either for your business, our 3 teams, or for your individual business. So Patrick, for you, it would be the auto glass.
Okay.
Corbin, for you, would be the exotic animals.
Okay.
Aisha, for you, would be the barbecue. So let me show and introduce this business canvas model so you at least are a little bit familiar with it before we kick off, and then we'll come back and look at it. So let me go back to the screen share and introduce it, okay? So right here, this business canvas model, everybody, can you see my screen?
No.
No.
No, share screen's not working yet.
How about now?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Can see it.
Okay, so let me go ahead and share my screen. So this business canvas model allows you, actually I'm just going to share this real quick. It allows you to see a visual representation of your business plan. So these are the elements of this. There's the customer segment, the relationship you want to build, why you're different, what's the key work, who's our partners, our key resources, our cost structures, and our revenue. So I'd like you to do this. As part of the homework is on your sheet of paper, fill that out either for your business, your individual business, or for the business team you were part of. Now, what I'm going to do is you're going to, if you want to study this more, I'm going to pull up the business canvas model. You're going to get access today to the Native 360 site. And on that site is an explanation of the business canvas model. What I like to do is just kick the tires on your own business, and then tomorrow we're going to jump right into the middle of this. So I'm going to pull up this.
You want me to pull it up, Kyle?
Yeah, pull
This
it
is
up
John.
real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll just take 5 minutes, then we'll wrap up here.
Okay.
So John's going to pull up the business canvas model.
Give me a second. I just got to jump over there.
Okay, so hang on here. It's on this link, native360.
.initiateprosperity.org. We'll email the link and sign up information out to everyone here in a little while so that you've got access to it.
Yeah, John, go to management. Go to management.
Here, there's a link right here.
And then down at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Understanding to your left, but go back up. Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do is, one, is gain access to the site and kick around in it. You know, kick around in it. You can download this, or you can use the document I sent you. So Patrick, this is a good idea for just practicing. Practicing. Again, practicing. Who's your customer, the relationship, the channels. And we'll work on this more detail tomorrow. But you can get access to this. And John, can you back up a little bit?
Sure.
There
Where'd
is,
you want?
back up, because you can play a video on this from the site.
Yeah, it's up here. Just a sec. Sorry, the meeting stuff is cutting me off there.
Well, what you can do is play it on the site. Right there it says the download guide, the download the blank template. and then below it, you can play a video.
Under
2-minute
the
overview of the video.
Explained here.
Yeah. So you may also be interested in, and there's an explanation on this. What I'd like you to do is go practice on the site. And if you can, try to fill out or start thinking about the business canvas model. And here's our little short video on it. Okay?
Hey, John.
Yes.
Yeah, if you go back to the, go back to the top there where it says the menu bar.
Yeah, just a sec.
Yeah, when you guys get into the site, there's a special area just for COVID-19 and reopening your business, and we have it broken down by category depending on what type your business is. But if you go back over to the management at the top, clear to the right, John, you click on management just so you find this, and then just click on business management. And there's a number of resources in there.
Yeah, here, let me go back to the front page too. There's an awful lot. I mean, just to kind of tease this, it really is, you know, if you guys have just nuts and bolts questions about how to do a business plan or put together a P&L or do certain types of social marketing, there's a lot of really good how-to stuff in here. And we're going to get that into that more over the next day or two.
And we can drill down and kick around the tires on this a little bit more tomorrow. But look for an email from you, John, right?
Yeah, we'll send it out in the next hour or so.
So you'll get an email, log in, kick around, you know, take you a little bit to get access, you know, set up an email. You have to set up an account and then kick around on the business canvas model.
Yep. Everybody will get a 30-day view of this, and then we'll send you out a special link after that. But for the first 30 days, there's no cost to it, but just so that we can determine if it's Christopher's client or our client, and then after 30 days, you'll be given an access code to it. But if you have any questions, reach out to me this evening or after you access it. If you're having any challenges navigating through it, just feel free to reach out to me. And only one thing that I want to focus on is if you go to that COVID-19 there, John, and click on the 90-day scenario. And there's a template there. If you download the template, it is really a great tool to have. And I think this is where most businesses fail, is determining what their break-even point is. And particular tool here, after you download it, gives you the ability to forecast if you're hitting 75% of your revenue, 50%, or 25%, it's going to calculate your break-even point. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to reach out to me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up for today. We're going to start tomorrow promptly at 10.
Hey, Pete.
We've got a little bit of introductions today.
Can you give your email address if they're going to reach out to you directly?
We'll have it in the email.
So
okay.
First, look for an email from John, set up the account, kick around, go dig around on the business canvas model. And tomorrow, back in Teams, we're going to be working on this and practicing. So, you know, if you want to get a head start and work on your own individual businesses, it's a good way to start thinking about the business model. And I know we only introduced it, so we're going to get back and I'll define all these elements for you tomorrow. Okay? John, Chris, any last closing comment? I mean, Pete, Pete and Chris, any last closing comments before we call it a day?
No, I just think if you guys have, you know, an hour or so this evening, just really navigate through that site we're going to send you to, because there's so many tools and videos in there. And we're going to be using this throughout the next, into the future. So always feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah. And this is something we're considering. It's fairly expensive as a platform to enhance our distance learning because of COVID. It's just, there's a lot of content. Pete invited me to look at his site and check it out. And as you guys see value that are Muskogee Fund, Muskogee Creek Nation citizens, please let me know your thoughts. There is a bit of navigating to get used to, but once you dial in, you can really get a lot of in-depth questions answered. We'd like to get your feedback. And Eric will be on the call tomorrow. I won't, but I will be back on Wednesday. If we can help you in any way, please let us know. For our clients, we should have gotten you Indian Entrepreneurship books, and that's a long and slow way to go from idea all the way to financials. So kind of use these thoughts together, and we'll be glad to help you in any way we can. Thank you for including us.
Okay, guys, we're done for the day.
All right.